Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our weekly market outlook session, where we look at tradable market opportunities, analyze some pairs, and see what opportunities or what setups or trades that we would be interested in trading and based on the setup. So we'll begin by looking at gold. Actually, before we do, let's just quickly take a very quick look at the DXY. So that's the dollar index. So while we're loading that up, let me also pull up forexfactory.com so we can get the reports for the latest economic news for the week. Okay, so as you can see, today is Monday, January 23rd, and we're going to just look at all the news, low, medium, and no impact news, as well as high impact as well, and see what lies. So for today being Monday, there's actually not much you could see. It's just today's Chinese bank holiday, so probably less activities from year-related pairs. And also you can see there's not much high impact or medium impact news. We just have the 6:45 ECB president speech that have some potential to react to the market. And then on Tuesday, it's when we have some major impact news from GBP, as well as CPI report from NZD, as well as PMI report from the USD. So take note of those as 10:30 a.m. for the GBP news, 3:45 p.m. for the flash service PMI USD news, and 10:45 p.m. for the CPI NZD news. And then on Wednesday, we also have the CPI report for the Aussie, as well as the monetary rate statement, official rate statement in terms of interest rate for cars. So this would be a big mover. It's currently at 4.25, and it's anticipating that it will be increased by 0.25%, so taking it to 4.50. So we'll see what it comes out. If it comes out at 4.50 or better, it's good for the CAD, and we could see some movement in Canadian pairs, as well as the speech followed thereafter. And then on Thursday, we also have high impact GDP QQ from the USD by 2:30 p.m., as well as some medium impact news, including the unemployment claims and new home sales. So keep in touch and keep in mind with those. We'll see if this new home sales actually quite important, even though it's listed as medium impact. It's anticipated to come out at 612,000 as opposed to 640K it was the previous month. And then on Friday, to wrap things up, we'll have the core PCE index from the USD by 2:30 p.m. It's expected to come out at 0.3. It was previously 0.2%. So the good thing about, I say good or there's no good or bad, doesn't really matter. The thing about the week is that there are not so many high impact news. So so we wouldn't see so many irrationalities in all major pairs. But keep in mind for Canadian pairs on Wednesday, as well as Aussie and NZD pairs on Thursday night and on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Okay, so let's jump straight over to our live charts. We'll start by looking at the DXY. So the DXY is it's the dollar index. It measures the strength of the dollar against all the major currencies. And, we always tend to review this week in, week out, looking for how to position ourselves, or basically what to expect from the dollar. So for a couple of months, since May down till September, actually, the dollar has been gaining massively. And then from September, it topped out at around September 27th and began to drop, but actually really began to break low when we took out 107.59 level. And since doing that, it's been on free fall. I've actually been anticipating we'll pull back up before we get to fall, but it's not the case. You can see the inverse, right? The inverse proportionality of the DXY to something like the EURUSD or the gold. They still have the same type of motion, the same type of movement. They're just trickling and just keep pushing lower in terms of, well, obviously EU is going to be pushing higher because they're inversely correlated. Not inversely correlated, but they're inversely proportional. If DXY is strong, that means the dollar is strong, that means EURUSD will be weak, will be dropping because the dollar is strong. Now that we've seen that, we know what to expect from the dollar. a weak dollar, probably a continuous weak dollar going into the week and probably months. But you have to pay attention that we are currently at a key level. We are the 6183 retracement area, which is also another level. You could see we have this low price here. So let me just pull up my, sorry. So you can see we have this low price here, and you can see where price is. Now, this doesn't mean anything per se. Price usually tends to go toward the area of this resistance, and as it stands now, the area of this resistance for price going to go bearish, but we could see some type of temporary bounce, maybe even slightly, or maybe just a temporary bounce and then a continuation. However, the momentum is bearish, so we're looking more to opportunities to sell the dollar because the dollar is weak. However, if we find opportunity to temporarily trade a counter trend move before we get into the sell, that would be also one thing I would like to take advantage of, which would lead me straight up into XAUUSD, which is gold. Now, gold, you can see, is obviously kind of like the opposite of DXY. Because the dollar is weak, gold is strengthening against it, and you can see it's moving up just as the dollar is moving down. Now, I got into, so let me go down to the 15-minute time frame. We got into a very nice trade here for last week Thursday, and I think I ended up closing that on that same day actually. Based on the structure. So let me just break this down a little bit. We had this push, we had this range here where market more or less Y-curve, it's accumulated, it reaccumulated here. You could see preliminary supply, ST and B, spring and our sign of strength, and we came back to retest the last order block. Wasn't able to get involved in this particular trade. I think that happened in the flash. However, price began to push, so showing that the momentum is bullish, which is why when we had this break, I was looking for opportunity to buy here, did not find. And then when price broke above, came down here and broke above, clearing all these highs, showing its hand, I was looking able to get involved buying here as well, but price did not. You can see price did not get down there. However, price doesn't have to do what we want, but we just need to understand price structure. Since price broke higher like so, within inside structure, you could see I got involved on a retest here of the higher low, and then took that to this point. It gave me very nice and some profit, and I'm looking to do the same thing here. In this case, kind of like the opposite. Now you can see how we are somehow forming some sort of a bearish channel. Our price is, since making this high here, price has made it low, right? So let me take out some of this. Since making that high, since making this high here, price has made it low. It made it high, but it's, it immediately closed back and then made a new low, so a lower high. They made a lower low, and then made a lower high, and now has made a lower low. Now, basically, but what this tells me is structure. What I'm looking at here is structure. High to lower low, to lower high, to lower low. So what am I expecting? Possible a lower low, or so I'm expecting price to pull back down, or to maybe go up here and then pull back down. So all in all, my expectation is I'm trying to sell down to this area. Now note that I'm not trying to maybe call the bottom and say, oh, this is the point where price begins to drop down and continues to drop down. I'm just targeting this low here. This low here is my target. It's not like I'm trying to go, say this is the highest point in price. As a matter of fact, I would probably still be interested in looking for buys if price drops below that and gives me setup. Okay, so but for now, I'm interested in looking for a sell around here or this trend line resistance, this channel resistance. So that's my outlook on gold for today and what I'm anticipating or looking forward to in this market. Okay, so that said, we move over to another instrument. Let's look at EU, so Euro USD. And let's look at the daily charts for EU. So daily charts for EU similar to DXY, similar to gold. has also, since breaking out of this long-term down bearish trend, has been moving higher. Overall, as you know, you see this red area here, it's kind of like my target zone, where I think price will probably decide to halt. I expected price to react a little bit more here, but that didn't happen, which is okay. Price has ever since keep making highs and clearing out highs and clearing out new highs. I was anticipating a pullback here, didn't get it. Anticipating a pullback here, not getting it as well. So it's part of the things. But what is my outlook on this? If the DXY strengthens a little bit, we could see this pullback down, and then I'll probably be interested in looking for a buy around here. So looking for a buy around this region. So it's for now, it's just watch and wait and see if we get a pullback, see if we get any sort of confirmation. So if price begins to pull back and gives us confirmation here, I'll look to buy. Otherwise, if it breaks down and then give me confirmation here, I also look to buy. Okay, so that's my outlook on EU. Let's also look at GU as well. So GU is going back up to the high, which obviously is similar to both EU and gold, is now bullish since coming off of long-term bearish market. So we broke out of trend line. We have followed that through. I was anticipating a pullback here, but didn't get that. Now price stopped out here and began to move up. I was anticipating maybe we come down here. Didn't get that. But then if you look at this 1 hour charts here, I was also looking for a move to buy from here. Think that this is something you also need to get comfortable with, that in trading, a lot of the times you have to be successful, you have to plan your trade and then look to execute your plan, but doesn't mean the market has to respect levels or in terms of come back to areas you're interested in. And I'm interested in buying here, but price did not give me that entry, so we let that go. I don't try to force the buy or anything. I'll just wait for another opportunity that fits my system or my criteria and then look to trade that. So going into the week GU, if we look at the 4 hour chart here, you'd see that we are approaching this what I call it tops, right? So let's just call it resistance. And what would I look for here? Well, stuff like this, I anticipate that we're just going to break this. I anticipate the market is probably going to gather some liquidity here before maybe breaking it and grabbing all those liquidities that will be grabbed. But we'll see how that goes. I'm not trying to sell this. If anything, I would actually try to look to buy it maybe somewhere around here or maybe down here. Probably look to buy. Okay. And then that takes us to so let's look at, so remember on when we looked at the economic calendar here, you'd see that we had so where's that? We had CPI reports. So the CPI reports from NZD will be out on Tuesday. Also, we also have that the Canadian interest rates or overnight rates, however it's called, would be out on Wednesday. Now, if you pair those two pairs together and look at the technicals and say, okay, what exactly is going on here? What could we expect? Well, if the CPI report comes out better than expected, it's expected at 1.4%. If it comes out better than expected, well, it's good for the NZD. And well, what that means is we could continue to go and take out this high. Otherwise, if it comes out worse than expected, then it's bad for the NZD. Also, if the interest rate for CAD comes out better than expected or as expected, I think even if it comes out as expected, which is 4.5, that would be good news for the Canadian pair. The worst thing that could happen to them is if they don't raise rates. Well, I don't see why they won't raise rates because the economy is big there. It's basically is coming out of the pre-COVID era. Now, so we can anticipate a raise in the CAD. What we can anticipate is if they raise it better than expected or as expected. Now, if they raise it as expected, we could see maybe we'll see small movement, but if it's better than expected, definitely see some big movement. Also, if it comes out as expected, we could also see some key movements depending on if the market has priced it in. So if the market has priced it in, they will probably not see much movement. Otherwise, we could likely see a good amount of price movement on this pair. So I like this two pair because we're going to have the kind of almost basically the biggest injection in both of them by the end of Wednesday, where we would have both reports and we would have a viable economic outlook for both of them. And so here's the thing, this high here, and this low down here are my primary targets. So what I mean is, if the report comes out good for the NZD and then bad for CADs, then we could see real continuation higher. If it comes out bad for NZD and good for CAD, we could see this breakdown and make a new lower low, which could then send price lower. If it comes out good for both of them, then it means it will now have to be a question of who's stronger, and then we could just probably range here. And if it comes out bad for both of them, also the same thing. So keep this in mind. And what I will be looking out for is actually I wouldn't try to guess what price wants to do. I just want to see the effect of how price react to the news and see if I can spot opportunity to trade. But for the meantime, you can see this inside structure of the 1 hour chart is kind of bullish. If it comes out good for NZD and bad for CAD, or then I can be looking for buy opportunity. Otherwise, I'll be looking for sell opportunity once I find structural shift. My main target will be this if I'm selling, and this if I'm buying. Okay, so that's NZDCAD. And finally, let's also take AUDCAD. Let's see. So similar to NZDCAD, these two areas are of interest, because remember, we have Aussie news and CAD news. So there's the Aussie CPI report on Wednesday, and I think the CAD CPI report as well on Wednesday. So you can see Wednesday, Aussie CPI reports 1:30 a.m., 4 p.m. CAD, interest rates statement. So those two areas are also of interest to me. I'll be looking to if it depends on how the report comes out and how the market reacts, I'll be looking to target either this highs or this low. Now remember, I'm not trading the news. I'm not going to use the value of the news and start scalping or start looking to get involved. I'm going to wait for the news to take effect and then make a decision based on the outcome of the event. Okay, so that's there's a number of instruments, a number of pairs that I wanted us to look at together. And so you can have an idea as some opportunities to watch for and spot for the week. If you have any question, you could, if you want me to look at any particular instrument, feel free to just type in your question in the chat box, and I'd like to answer. If you're watching from the YouTube, so you obviously, what you can do is check the link in this video. You probably see, you see a link to set up an account. Click on that link. I'll probably put in a link to a Telegram channel there as well, so you can join in if you wish. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, and it's nice to have you here on board. Remember, when trading, always ensure that you're trading with proper risk management. Wait for confirmation. Don't be in a hurry to place trade. Wait for confirmation. If you find it, watch for it. So wait for it to meet your criteria, and then you look to get involved. Okay, thank you, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, have a wonderful day and a wonderful week.